So you've been vibe coding in frantic isolation? When I need to know if my app is working, I call my cousin Checkley.
Our synthetics robots are ready for launch. Your app is safe now. Good vibration.
Checkley.
I'm Dietrich, and he is 100% recommended. Don't be a vibe coding fool. Trust Checkley. He is my smart cousin. Tell him I sent you.
Thank you, Dietrich. Thank you. Keep up the good work. During my 4 years at New Relic, I had the pleasure of experiencing the vast complexities of what it means to be monitoring or observing the full stack of the core business and the core customer experiences enterprise or large enterprise companies have. And it's pretty intense, and it is pretty expensive. It becomes pretty expensive. So now I'm following the vibe coding trend. It's just fascinating. I'm trying the platforms myself. And what I notice is that the market, what we hear in the market is that you can use some of these, for example, top 4 here platforms, vibe coding platforms. Usually people, the sentiment is that they're not fully happy with it, but it's kind of really promising. So they will add another step or layer. Maybe it's Cloud Code or Gemini, an LLM that it's good with reviewing bugs and reviewing code, and then they will get a best effort. And I was putting together my experience with all these new exciting times, and I was thinking something is missing, and maybe it's not obvious. So I decided to make this video. Maybe it's helpful. So there is a new concept, a bit revolution, a shift, mindset shift, if you like, called monitoring as code. And this is the modern 2025 and to the future a way of monitoring and the way of thinking. So, from traditional monitoring tools, they rely on complex user interfaces, manual configurations, and I can tell you, I know that because I've been helping my customers during those 4 years at New Relic. But now it is really a developer-centric approach, what it's this kind of revolutionary shift, if you like, which is monitoring lives directly with your application code. So it is there. So when your team is coding the application, they are, already putting the monitoring, so they can be confident and they can make sure things are gonna go fine. And if they don't go fine, they will be the first knowing when something breaks. Not your customers, not your revenues going to crash or your brand reputation. So vibe coding, we all heard about it. It's an incredible promise. Anybody can code. You don't need to know any languages. Spend tons of years. But that's the kind of, democratizing software development, very fast acceleration, etc. But obviously it's in its infancy, moving really fast, but it's far from being ideal. There's a lot of disaster scenarios that has been happening, and definitely the sentiment out there is like, it's not reliable, it's a bit frustrating. So maybe this is nothing new, but to me, I haven't seen anybody talking about this, especially to the business people who are the CEOs and the founders of companies trying vibe coding. So why don't we put together monitoring as code with vibe coding, and then we move from a risky experiment into a reliable development approach. And basically the whole idea is, once you have that best effort with all the layers or Cloud Code or whichever you use, let's launch synthetic users. Let's log what is called synthetic monitoring. Basically these are robots you can send. They will reproduce the customer behavior from all over the world, and they can also reproduce all API. All the APIs that are happening behind the scenes. So it's a bit like the best of both worlds. We might get the speed of vibe coding and all that, incredible things, but we need to have that kind of layer of confidence, of trust that, hey, this is, I can put it online, I can put it live, it can go into production, and I'm gonna have all the systems, the systematic approach So when it breaks, I will be the first to know my customers, and know my brand getting burnt and trashed online. So that's kind of what I thought. And then to all of these, a bit of a shout out to all of the vibe coding platforms out there. My research tells me these are the 10 most prominent right now. And I'm just telling to the CEOs, the leaders, why don't we make it even better? Why don't we, why don't you, or why don't we think of, pre-building monitoring as code inside of your product? So at least your customers know once they get that, beautiful software app that you are helping them to build, they can have this confidence layer, this reliability layer that it's just gonna be like one click and they can go and try it out. So I'm not asking you to be a pioneer or a leader. The whole idea is that just follow somebody who's already done it. So Vercel Group has already an integration with Checkly. By the way, I haven't mentioned them, but you have met Dietrich, the cousin of Checkly. And Checkly is the company who has this vision, and they invented this category. They created monitoring as code, and it's a really fantastic company. The culture, everything they do, it's constant innovation, and even they, when they managed to reduce costs internally, there was a post from the chief product officer. They will pass that to the customer. So it seems like they reduce 40% of cost and pass it to their customers, which it's like a cool thing and a cool partner to be working with. So my idea with this video was just to highlight this, to say, hey, if you didn't think about that layer or about the synthetic monitoring, checking your vibe coding applications. It is super easy. And just go to the checklyhq.com is the URL, and then you can check it out. And if you don't know who to talk to, all leaders of these vibe coding cool companies, give me a shout or check with Dietrich, and I'm sure he's gonna hook you up with the right person for sure.
Thanks for watching, guys. Let's make vibe coding better together. Monitoring as code and vibe coding.